wheel. The car's off.
His punishment at confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for 11 years, 10 months, 12 days.
Evil cops act out of pure malice, and sometimes the hammer of justice falls on their head. These are times when evil cops were given unexpected prison sentences. On January 28, 2019, Gregory Griffin and Andrew Dixon were stopped by police when an officer spotted a gun. As they tried to escape in their car, Officer Crespo and his partner gave chase. Crespo fired 3 shots, killing Griffin and seriously injuring Dixon. The defense claimed it was justified, but the prosecution argued it was excessive. The jury ended up finding Crespo guilty on 6 counts.
Everything. Turn off the vehicle. Turn off the vehicle. Turn it off. Turn off the car.
What?
Turn off the car.
What?
Sir, turn off the vehicle. Turn off the vehicle, sir. Turn it off. Turn off the car and roll down the window. Open the door. Give me that other unit. Open the window. Open the door.
What's up?
I got a 646. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Hands. Hands on the wheel. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Hands on the wheel. The car's off. Be advised, the vehicle took off.
What's the location?
Thomas in Pennsylvania.
What kind of car is that?
2017, Chrysler 300, color black. Zulu 21, Kilo. It should be under his leg.
Does anybody fires a weapon here?
No, here, not here.
Delta 91, go. I think you need to start moving these cars so the bus can get filled. Alright, units, Edwin Delta 191.
When the lady officer told Griffin to stop, Griffin rolled up the window, making things worse by resisting arrest and endangering everyone. Meanwhile, the cop was running and shooting, which was reckless and unprofessional, putting public safety at risk. At the Newark courthouse, emotions were intense as former officer Giovani Crespo was sentenced to 27 years in prison for an incident from January 2019. Crespo was convicted of aggravated manslaughter and official misconduct. During the hearing, his family and the families of the 2 victims sat on opposite sides, both seeking justice. In July 2018, Crespo was found guilty and apologized to the court for the pain he caused both families.
When I got to Giovani, I made a promise to his mom that Giovani was going to be the best that he could be. And she wanted me to raise him the right way, and I did my best.
I would just like to apologize for the event that occurred, to the victims, to my family that I put through, everybody that's been going through hard times because of this I took a chance at a job where it's life or death every day. And the thin blue line really is just the line.
Court's decisions can often take your burdens away, just like this next verdict where the cops seem to shed a huge amount of allegations.
The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June, 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida.
Scott Peterson, the armed school officer during the 2018 Parkland, faced major backlash after 17 people were killed and 17 others injured. Accused of abandoning his post, he failed to investigate the fire, retreated as the shooting unfolded, and even ordered other officers to stay away.
Okay, the verdict forms are complete. I will now publish them. They read as follows. In the Circuit Court of the 17th Judicial Circuit in and for Broward County, Florida, case number 19-7166 CF10A, State of Florida plaintiff versus Scott Peterson defendant, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 5. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 6. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 7. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 10. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 11. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to address you only by the numbers that are on the back of your badges. Juror number 1, are these your true verdicts?
Yes, they are.
Juror number 2, are these your true verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 4, are these your true verdicts?
It was clear Peterson had been suffering since the tragic loss of those innocent lives, replaying the event in his mind over and over. He couldn't escape it. In the end, the jury did their job and got it right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to each of you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. 99% of the citizens that live in Broward County, a county of 2 million, have no idea what happens when you're actually selected on a jury and you actually serve through the process. But now you all know. And I know most people don't say thank you, but I will say thank you because I know the time, effort, and energy that went into this. I have a thank you letter and a certificate. I'm going to give that to the court deputy who's going to pass that out when they walk you out because it has your names on them. The reason I normally do this in person in the courtroom, and I'm not going to do it today, is because I'm not and have not addressed you by your names. That's why we use the numbers in care of your privacy. I did also want to let you all know I will be entering an order today that instructs the clerk of court, the trial court administrator, as well as both parties, not to disclose your names, okay? So the only way your names are going to be disclosed is if you choose. You certainly may choose. So if you want to go out there and talk to whoever you want to talk to, you're perfectly entitled to do that. Since you actually did serve on a jury, they will not summon you for jury duty for a year, for 12 months. So I'll see you next year. All right, unless you all have any questions for me, ladies and gentlemen, your jury service is concluded at this point. Again, with my great thanks for your time, effort, and energy, Court Deputy, there's a certificate for each. Your jury service is concluded and you are dismissed. Thank you very much.
The district attorney tried to pin their broken system on Peterson, making him the scapegoat. But Peterson wasn't guilty of murder. It wasn't his fault.
Okay, we're outside the presence of the jury. Everyone can be seated. I do need to address with all parties. I am entering an order contemporaneously. Madam Clerk will have a copy for each of the lawyers, order sealing juror information. This order is specifically directed at our trial court administrator, at the Broward County Clerk of Courts, as well as the state and as well as the defense. I'm going to have the jury verdict forms redacted. The jury information is going to be sealed. So I'm likewise ordering the state and ordering the defense not to disclose any of those names. In this age of electronic multimedia, I'm sure if any jurors would like their identities to be revealed and would like to speak to media or other sources, I'm sure they will have ample opportunity to do so. But that's not going to come from the state, and that's not going to come from the defense. Ms. Wilcox, you have copies of those orders for each. The jury having found you not guilty on counts 1 through 11, I will likewise enter an order of acquittal as to counts 1 through 11. Mr. Eilgosh, is there anything you need me to do regarding Mr. Peterson? No, Your Honor. I wish you good luck, sir. State, anything else you need me to do? No, thank you. Okay. Then at this point, that's going to conclude the proceedings in 19-7166 CF10A. All right, Madam Court Reporter, that is it.
It was such a relief to see Peterson cleared of a crime he didn't commit. People were quick to blame him for a psychopath school shooting. But in the end, justice was rightly served. Peterson was hit with charges of child neglect, negligence, and lying, facing several years in prison. But after a long trial, he was found not guilty of everything. When the verdict came, Peterson cried with relief. Being in authority means managing to keep personal emotion, unlike the next cop who did his best to mix them up.
There were no winners at all in this situation, not only for myself and my family, but for all of those involved.
Michael Notoriano was sentenced to 6 months in jail for his role in a violent clash with Detroit men who had stolen his daughter's phone. Despite being a former police officer, Notoriano only faced 1 misdemeanor charge after a jury cleared him of 10 others, including armed robbery and racial intimidation. The judge rejected probation, deciding instead to impose jail time. In 2018, Notoriano was found guilty of willful neglect of duty for pointing a gun and using racial slurs in a 2013 incident. The judge noted that racial prejudice seemed to be part of Notoriano's character, leading to a stricter sentence. Being effective is part of the job, but sometimes it comes with a steep price, just like in this next case.
This is punishment at confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for 11 years, 10 months, 12 days.
In 2019, a neighbor called for a wellness check at Jefferson's mother's home, where Jefferson was watching her nephew. Officer Aaron Dean, a 38-year-old white officer, responded and shot 28-year-old Jefferson through the window. He resigned before being fired for policy violations. Jefferson's 11-year-old nephew, who was then 8 years old, witnessed the shooting as he was in the same room and testified last week.
The jury has sent a note or given me notice that they have reached a verdict. Are both sides ready to receive the verdict? All right. Y'all did fabulous when we did the guilt-innocence verdict, okay? Same rules apply. I don't know what this verdict is. Can't have any emotions, all right? Let's bring them in. Okay. Everyone may be seated. Good afternoon. Juror number 1, it's my understanding the jury has reached a verdict. Is that correct? Is it a unanimous verdict? Okay. And please, Deputy Nicholson. Mr. Dean. Verdict reads, we the jury, having found the defendant Aaron York Dean guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the offense of manslaughter, assess his punishment at confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for 11 years, 10 months, 12 days. They do not assess a fine, and it is signed by the presiding juror. You may be seated. Thank you very much.
What Dean did was deeply inhuman and shameful. His unprofessionalism and lack of training led to the kill of an innocent person.
Juror number 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 3, is this your verdict? Juror number 4, is this your verdict? Juror number 6, is this your verdict? Juror number 9, is this your verdict? Juror number 14, is this your verdict? Juror number 15, is this your verdict? Juror number 21, is this your verdict? Juror number 31, is this your verdict? Juror number 32, is this your verdict? Juror number 37, is this your verdict? Juror number 38, is this your verdict? Your verdict will be received and filed. Thank you very much. Mr. Dean, it's the jury having found you guilty of the offense of manslaughter and assessed this punishment. It's the order of the court you be remanded to the custody of the sheriff, be delivered to the director of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve your sentence as required by law. You will receive credit for all the time that you have served in custody on this case from the date of your original arrest up until today, which would be the date of sentence. You have the right to appeal the jury's decision. You do so by giving written notice of appeal to the Second Court of Appeals here in Fort Worth within 30 days. If you are indigent and cannot afford a lawyer, I would conduct an indigency hearing to determine if you are indigent. And if you are indigent, I would appoint a lawyer to represent you on appeal and provide you a record of this appeal of this trial at no cost.
Dean deserved a much longer sentence than just 11 years for his actions. Still, justice was served and he faced punishment for his crime. A jury convicted Aaron Dean of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 11 years, 10 months, and 12 days in prison. The judge also noted that Dean could be eligible for parole after serving half of his sentence. Even though a cop's job is hectic, losing your temper and acting recklessly isn't acceptable. Yet that's exactly what the next cop did.
The jury unanimously find the defendant, Amber Geiger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment.
On September 6, 2018, Amber Geiger, a fired Dallas police officer, and Botham Jean in his own apartment, mistakenly thinking it was her own. The verdict came down with her being found guilty of murder. Inside the courtroom, gasps echoed as Geiger wiped away tears, and outside, supporters of Jean celebrated. Facing a possible 10-year sentence, Geiger's family looked stunned. Despite her emotional testimony claiming it was a tragic mistake, her defense plans to appeal for a reduced charge of aggravated. The verdict is seen as a significant win in a racially charged case, with Jean's family and supporters viewing it as a victory for justice.
The charges in this case were first-degree murder, 16 counts of aggravated battery, and 1 count of official misconduct.
On October 20th, 2014 in Chicago, 17-year-old Laquan McDonald was fatally shot 16 times by Officer Jason Van Dyke. Initially, police claimed McDonald was threatening them, but a dashcam video released over a year later revealed he was walking away when Van Dyke fired. This shocking footage exposed the false narrative and ignited widespread outrage.
Who have taken the time out of their life, and we all know just come back from a small vacation or some kind of work trip, how we have to catch up, and they have to catch up. And they've done things, and this is not the easiest decisions to make in the world. So I don't want anybody second guessing them. They've done an outstanding job. We all have to be proud of their accomplishments as citizens of Cook County. So again, what I want you to do is look into your heart. And if you can withstand the verdicts, please stay. But if you think you can't, I want you to leave, because there will be a zero tolerance at this time, because I'm not going to have these people disrespected. And thank you, ma'am, I appreciate that. I know this isn't going to be easy, so I'm, asking you again to look into your heart. If you think you're not capable of this, then please leave, and we'll let you back in after the verdict. All right, we all ready? And I want to, all right, what I want to do too is we've had members from the media, both broadcast and press journalists. They've just been fantastic. Everybody's been really outstanding. The reporting on this has been very important, because we need transparency, and especially a case like this. And I really want to compliment the media chairs. They've just been great. They've been very cooperative. We had a great session the other day with the two jurors, the alternate jurors that were excused, and we're allowed, to have the interview with them.
Jason didn't merely shoot Quan McDonald 16 times, he murdered him. It didn't matter who McDonald was or that he was a black teenager. The key point was the sheer brutality of the excessive force used.
Again, thank you very much. I appreciate your interest, and again, thank you for the press. You've been outstanding. All right, bring the jury out, please.
All rise for the jury.
Will the foreperson please rise? Has the jury reached verdicts?
Yes, they have.
Thank you very much. Could you give Jessica the jury verdict forms and just have a seat? Appreciate that. I like your jury. You're wearing them like necklaces. Fantastic. That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain certain things so you'll understand the verdicts a little bit better. All right, the charges in this case were first-degree murder, 16 counts of aggravated battery, and 1 count of official misconduct. There also, the defense had asked for the instructions and the jury verdict form on second-degree murder. All right, let me explain the process here. Before anybody can get to second-degree murder, the state must prove each and every element of first-degree murder. There is no bypassing that and going directly to second-degree murder. As pointed out by one of our wonderful professors, Professor Kling, who's in the audience during his lectures, second-degree murder is a combination of first-degree murder plus a mitigating factor.
The entire department, including the chief and mayor, should have been charged along with Jason. Their unprofessionalism and negligence in putting unfit officers on duty made them responsible for the murder. It was a larger crime than just Jason's actions.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, 8 shots. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, 9 shots. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, 10 shots. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, 11 shots. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, 12 shots. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with a firearm, 13 shots. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with firearm, 14 shots. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, guilty of aggravated battery with firearm, 15 shots. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Van Dyke, not guilty of official misconduct. 12 signatures.
At this time, Mr. Herbert.
Judge, we cannot hold the jury.
Can I have the attorneys over here for a second, please?
It was shocking that, of all the cops at the scene that night, he was the only one who fired his gun. That said it all. He definitely needed to be punished for his actions.
Mr. Herbert.
Your Honor, this time we'd ask to hold the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know this is, a new experience for you, but when anybody has been convicted of a criminal offense in the state of Illinois by a jury trial, the person that has been convicted has an absolute right to poll the jury. This was a remedy decided by our Illinois Supreme Court. And the purpose of this is in case somebody was forced to sign a jury verdict form in the jury room. And this gave that individual the opportunity to be in the public and say, no, this wasn't my verdict form. So it's an absolute right. So the question will be, was this then and is this now your verdict? Meaning, was that then in the jury room and is this now your verdict? So at this time, Tony?
Yeah. Juror 241, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 242, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 243, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 244, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 245, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 246, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 247, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 248, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 249, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 250, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
And juror 251, were those then and are these now your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, John and Jessica, will you take our wonderful people of the jury and our three wonderful alternates back to the jury room, please?
All rise for the jury.
Such cops should face stiffer sentences, like life in prison or the death penalty, to deter future brutality. Sadly, even after his verdict, he showed no remorse or reaction at all. He was a clear psychopath. Van Dyke faced first-degree murder charges and was held without bail before being released. The city settled with McDonald's family for $5 million. On October 5, 2018, Van Dyke was convicted of second-degree and 16 counts of aggravated battery. He was sentenced to prison in January 2019, but got out early for good behavior in February 2022. What does the early release of Van Dyke say about the effectiveness of justice for police misconduct cases? Let me know in the comments below if you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Check out this next video right here. This is Detective Mysteries signing off.